Oge and Lisa lead Sheerah Network. We're so excited to be able to just have a brief time with them to find out more about their work and more about their context as they continue to challenge inclusivity and diversity. Friends, you are so welcome. And so, could one of you just share with us briefly what is Sheerah up to at this moment in time?
So we've recently launched an online group coaching opportunity for women in leadership. It's an opportunity to connect, to cultivate and collaborate. So to connect with other leaders, to develop their leadership and collaborate in if there is synergy in what they're doing. So that's the first thing. And secondly, we are very, very excited to announce the premiere of our documentary, the first in a series of many. Could you play the trailer, please?
Cue trailer.
Can we create our own opportunities? Would you venture into the unknown and risk the safety of your present for a daring future? Will it be worth it? From the vibrant city of Lagos to the suburbs of Essex, the young Mary Stretch embarked on a journey of adventure, excitement and hard work. From brand manager with Unilever to BBC Radio and television, Mary became one of the first black female producer presenters, pivoting from house cleaner to business owner, recruiting for some of the biggest global brands in the world whilst being a single mom, and finally becoming the founder of a multi-award-winning UK charity. Mary broke every glass ceiling in her way. How did a black woman born in Nigeria and completing her early education in Essex become such a pioneer and trailblazer? Mary's story will educate you, inspire you, and leave you with hope that your gender, the color of your skin, or birthplace does not have to limit what you can achieve. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world.
It's cool. Yeah, I love it. Tell us more. What did we just watch?
So that's the trailer for On a Bet and a Prayer, which is the first of a series of many. And it's the story of Mary, who was one of the first black female BBC producers. So it just tells her story, gets people to understand what it's like to be a black woman in a white majority place, and just to educate people, but also to leave people with hope and inspiration that if she can do this, that you can too.
Come on, that's good, okay. And obviously you've just spoke a bit to the why of the documentary, like why you're doing it and some of the goals there. But I mean, I know you guys, this isn't your normal skill set, isn't it? So I would imagine that producing this documentary, there's been a bit of a story to this, and that it's not something that you've done before, is it?
I'm a doctor, or used to be, giving up my license, but that's another story. And also an executive and leadership coach, so I have absolutely no experience in media, in production. My only creative is I've written a few books, that's it. And Lisa?
Yes, we've got no media experience at all. So it was literally a labour of love and just listening to God, which a lot of you have been saying. And we've just taken it a step at a time, and we've trusted God. We've had our ups and our downs, we've had our challenges, and we've just prayed our way through it and been persistent. And we've seen God move in not just bringing it to come to fruition, but also in the execution of it all, in the making things happen, in the people that we've been aligned to work with, even with Mary. I mean, when we were speaking to Mary and talking to Mary, and when she agreed to do this with us, we had no idea of her faith or her background, and that came out, and that was fantastic as well. And we found that with most of the people that we've worked with and spoken to, and that you will be seeing shortly.
Tell us just a bit more about the why as well, because I know you've said it too, but because we're going to kind of land on what is the impact that you hope that this will bring. But tell us a bit more about this why. Why is this work still so vitally important and needed?
Okay, well, I will refer to some statistics in a minute, which is why I've got my phone. Not good at remembering statistics. That's you. But, yeah, I suppose since 2020, since George Floyd's murder, that awakened a lot of people all over the world. And a lot of companies made pledges, and certain things started happening, and then you saw things dwindle down. You'll see that budgets are being cut, and you no longer have it as a priority. And some people just made the statement and actually didn't do anything about it at all. So these issues were highlighted back then, 4 years ago now, aren't we? 4 years ago, and people said they were going to do something about it. And a few have. There have been some progress, but there's still a lot more to do. And things haven't changed. And this has been going on for a long time for the black community. And I'm not sure if you know what day it is today. It's the 22nd of June, but it's actually Windrush Day. That means 76 years ago, the first ship that brought Caribbean migrants over to the UK landed here in Essex, in Tilbury, 76 years ago today. And a lot of people don't even know that, or not aware of that. So this is about educating people so that they're aware of the journey. This is part of my history. My parents came over from the Caribbean, from St. Lucia. And that's part of my story, that's part of my history, even though I was born here, but that is my history. And knowing that journey that they went through, knowing the reception that they got when they got here, knowing what they've had to do to get to where they are, and to provide for us as a family and make way, I should say, because they wasn't welcomed. I'm sure some of you know the story. It's about keeping that alive in terms of knowing history and actually educating those that don't know, because there'll be people that don't know that story, that don't know what today's day is, that doesn't know why it's important, that doesn't know what the global majority, I'll say, the black people, had to endure when they got here. They came here not because they were desperate, but they came here because they were invited here to help out. They served in the war, and they came to fill the gaps where there were no one in the labour market to fill some of these jobs. And some of them came here to complete education and trade. And it actually cost them to come here because they had to pay to travel on the ship to come over. It wasn't free. And back then, I worked it out actually, it was roughly about £33, which today's money would be about £1,500. And that's just to get here. They then needed accommodation, they needed to buy food, clothes. The weather's totally different. So there's lots of things that people won't know, and it's about educating. Then when they did get here and we get jobs, we're finding still today, which is one of the reasons why we specialise in the leadership side, is that there are barriers. So you can work, that's fine, yeah, do the job, but getting promoted, getting into senior levels, there is these barriers and this extra hoop that they have to drive over. And we've got here, let me see it now, 71% of employees from black backgrounds reported to be felt overlooked for opportunities owing to their identity. So they were overlooked, 71%. And then you've got over 41% of black workers face racism at work in the last 5 years. And there's more and more statistics like that. And if we don't educate people on that, and we don't highlight people to what they can do about it, how they can be allies, how they can make opportunities, then it's going to stay the same. And that's not what we're about. We need to change this. This is not the life that God wanted. No. There shouldn't be a barrier just because of your race or your background or your ability or your gender. Because we know for black women, it's even harder. So this is what we're about. This is why we're doing this. And this is why we're highlighting and shining the light on those that have made it and actually still telling their story, and also showing that you can be part of this changing of the narrative in this regard.
Yeah. This is great. These are powerful words. Okay, anything to add to that? And then as we draw to a close, what are you both hoping the impact of this documentary will be?
Well, first of all, we want to celebrate these women because they have done amazing things. And all of the women that we have lined up have broken glass ceilings that are unimaginable. So we want to celebrate them. Like we said earlier, we want to educate people, but we want to inspire people. The story of black people is not just about slavery. It's also about overcoming. It's about becoming all that God wanted them to be. So we want that as well. And this is only the first. So we want to start a movement of inspiration and hope so that younger black people, men and women, can look at these women and think, if they did it, so can I. And nothing can stop me. So we'd love you to support us in this. Buy a ticket. If you can't come, it's not just for women. It's a very interesting story, Mary's story. Buy a ticket for the premiere. Buy one for somebody else if you can't make it. Share it on your social media platforms and with all your friends. And if you can't do any of that, which a bit difficult to understand why you can't do any of that,
Good point.
then just donate money, because we have had to put our own money into this. We are not being funded by anybody. It's us. Because we believe in this, and because God said so.
Yeah, that's good. Any final words from you, Lisa?
I think you said it all, to be honest. It's just so moving, and it's so inspiring to see how God's taken us on this journey. And when we actually got it together and we saw it, we just cried. Because it was finally here, and it just had such an impact. And like I said, it's just not just watching the film. Hopefully, we're going to have a panel discussion. We'll tell you about the journey as well. But it's just the whole way, seeing God move through the whole process of putting it together and the impact that it's had. Looking back, you can see it so clearly. At the time, it's been hard, but we can see it all the way through. So I can't stress enough how important it is for you to come and see this, to be part of it, to tell others about it, and to come along. And hopefully we'll continue to do this with God's strength.
And tell us, finally, when is the event? When is the premiere? Do you know the date so we can log on?
Sorry, we thought that was on there. We forgot that one. It's on Wednesday, the 31st of July.
31st of July.
Wednesday, the 31st of July. And it's the premiere is going to be shown in Chigwell, so it's not far, at the Prince Regent Hotel. Again, it's nice and local. There's free parking. You can also get the train there. It's not far. There's Chigwell underground station. And it's going to be an amazing event. It will start in the evening, because we do know it's Wednesday. So it was Wednesday evening at 6:30 with a welcome reception. And it's 4 parts to it. You'll have the showing of the documentary. You'll have the moderated panel. We'll have an open Q&A and a chance to network at the end. So we hope to see you there.
Let's support this. These guys are doing fabulous work. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, Oge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Amazing.